Hello everyone, you're watching REA-NX9 channel, and today we're going to take apart the Honor 90. First we need to remove the SIM card tray. To do this we use the special tool, insert it into the hole and gently push out the card tray. Next we need to heat the surface of the back cover to a temperature of approximately 70 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We use a heating mat for this, but you can also use a hair dryer. We heat it for about 10 minutes and after that we can start detaching or separating the back cover. Please note that the Honor 90 is very firmly glued in the camera area, so you need to be really careful. The cover will resist in that spot. Also, please note that in our case the cover was cracked in several places, so we need to separate it even more carefully to avoid breaking those parts off completely. Now we carefully go along the edge and start detaching the cover using a thin plastic film. This film can be a piece of plastic from a stationery store or a protective film from a new display. We gently slide the film along the edge, working around the camera area. Do not rush and do not use force. Please notice that the technician here used isopropyl alcohol to slightly soften the adhesive near the camera area. This is strongly not recommended, since isopropyl alcohol can get onto the lenses. It is better not to use alcohol here and instead heat the cover a bit more thoroughly. At some point we can use a non-metallic tool to slightly leave the cover near the camera area. We should not apply force so as not to break the cover. And finally we can open the cover. Take a look at where the adhesive has been applied. And we set the cover aside. After that we can cover the camera lenses. For this we use a special protective film. Carefully apply the protective film, and please note that we apply the film not directly on the lenses, but on the rim around them. Next we need to check what is under the protective films, to make sure there are no flex cables there. After that we proceed to unscrew the screws in the upper part. For this we use a 1.5 mm Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips #3O. As usual with the Honor devices, the screws are not magnetic, they don't come out easily and stay in the cover. Therefore, a magnetizer will not help. We have to use tweezers to remove them. It is also important to mention that sometimes we might miss one or two screws and then try to remove the cover. It is very important not to use force and not to rush. If something doesn't come off easily, it is better to check once more to make sure we did not forget any screws. Once we find the missed screw and remove it, as you can see, the cover detaches quite easily. So we detach the cover using a non-metallic tool. Then, using a non-metallic tool again, we disconnect the two battery connectors. Next we proceed to unscrew the screws in the bottom part. For this we also use a 1.5 mm Phillips screwdriver. The screws here are also non-magnetic, so we use tweezers again to remove them. After that we can detach the lower cover. We use tweezers for this. Carefully lift it in the correct spot and remove the cover with a loudspeaker. We peel off the protective film and set the loudspeaker aside. Next we disconnect the fingerprint sensor connector, then the coaxial cable connectors, release the cables from the clips that secure them on the subboard and disconnect the interboard flex cable connector. Now we can carefully remove the subboard, lift it gently in the correct place and take it out. The subboard contains the charging port, microphone and the card connector, which is located on the reverse side. And now our traditional quick test of the microphone opening. The microphone hole is located in the display frame and has an L-shaped form. The microphone body itself is positioned on the subboard on the opposite side of the microphone hole. Therefore, if we insert something into the microphone hole, we will not be able to damage the microphone mechanically, but liquid could possibly reach it. The fingerprint sensor and the vibration motor remain in the display frame. Now let's move on to the main board. First we disconnect the coaxial cable connectors, carefully so as not to damage them. Then we disconnect the interboard flex cable connector and the display flex cable connector. After that we can disconnect the cameras. We start with the front camera. It is also better to cover the front camera lens with a special protective film to prevent dust or debris from getting on it. Then we can disconnect the rear cameras. Carefully lift and disconnect them and set them aside. Okay, we disconnect the last camera as well. By the way, the cameras are not glued in place. Next we need to unscrew two screws that secure the main board. For this we also use a 1.5 mm Phillips screwdriver or Phillips #3O. These screws are magnetic and look different from the previous ones, so it is better to keep them separately. Now we can remove the main board. Carefully lift it in the correct place, take it out and set it aside. As for the microphone hole in the upper part, the situation is exactly the same. It has an L-shaped form. The microphone body is located on the main board on the opposite side of the hole. So again, if we insert something into the microphone hole, we cannot damage the microphone physically, but liquid could possibly reach it. And finally, we move on to removing the battery. Traditionally, for Honor, we have 3 brown pull tabs, which are difficult to peel back and can easily tear. We should read the description carefully and fold back the 2 side tabs. Then gently pull the middle tab upward to detach the battery. Under the battery there is a transparent protective layer that protects the interboard flex cables. And that completes our disassembly. Thank you for watching and see you in our next videos, or on our Telegram channel or on our website. Okay guys, now we're done. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, read our articles on our website. Take care of yourself and until next video.